Homer was born in Orwell. Our first poetry fire is Trace Franke. He is a ward plier, a sound poet, and a time publisher.
Can we fix the mixer here?
He has a
that's phonetics.
Serial publication that comes out once per decade. Currently, he is living between Cleveland and Arwell by George, Ohio. I first met him probably 10 years ago, maybe longer than that, when I was going to Cleveland State. His collage of rejection letters has been lost by the Cleveland State Poetry Center. It is a great pleasure to introduce Chris Franke.
So was that Beowulf or Canterbury Tales?
It was Chaucer.
Okay.
Chaucer, huh? Well, and I can't find my sound pipes after all that.
No! That's it. Come back next month.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. Somebody said they weren't a poet, they were a writer. Well, this is a... is this thing at? Okay. I gotta spit into it, I guess. Frank Polite wrote this poem called A Poet Is Not a Writer. And it was published in Art Crime 7, which came out after Art Crimes 8.
There's a story there.
We're loose. A writer must have a deep patience, a profound desire to remain human. He propels his paragraphs slow and voluminously along the ocean bottom like a school of whales. All by himself, the writer is communing. He reproduces himself as chapters. He gathers against continental shells his tribal relations, his wavering wives, his folio babies, plump and nursing. He arrives in layers, weightless with words. A poet is not a writer. Streamlined and arrogant, he lives in the insistent edge of his being, every word flashing above the blue marine like a flying fish. He keeps to the ceiling of his wit's end, and there, tense between two elements, he beats his fins into wings to leave the deep salt sea forever, to fly out of it and alchemize into a beam of sunlight. The flying fish's deepest wish, to be caught and swallowed midair by a golden eagle.
So there.
You got him.
Thank you. Frank Polite thanks you. I know his name always seems sort of odd. I sort of want to think of him as discourteous.
He's still alive?
As far as I know, yeah. He's, I think what I heard.
You might as well be dead.
The Pittsburgh Press. The Art Crime 7, I was like the guest editor of Art Crime 7, so I'll do another poem from Art Crime 7. It's called The PES, and this was by Robert E. McDonough. PES stands for Poet Emergency Specialist. The traffic parts at the iambic pentameter siren of the Poetic Emergency Specialist. He parks by a hydrant. Police respect the PES license and the revolving bust of Shakespeare flashing red on top. The poet is waiting at the door. Take me right to it, the PES demands. You say it's been this way 4 days without even a line changing? No wonder you're upset. It's enough to make anyone ambiguous. A good PES is always soothing. He knows the poet fears that if his poem dies, he'll never be given another. I think I can save it, the PES says, if I make the cut right away, just a dislocated modifier and some fractured syntax. I might as well take out these symbols too. It's got more than it needs. No, screams the poet, touch that rose and I'll kill you. The PES, accustomed to these scenes, smiles. We're too well protected. If you harm me, the avant-garde will be after you. The poet shudders and subsides. The hemistick I sewed should hold. If it's in pain, 2 verbs every 4 hours, and call me in the morning. And some practical advice, he says, going out the door. If you see catharsis coming, bring it a big bowl. Another one of the forms of mischief I've been getting into is taking poems of Daniel Townsend's and creating what I like to refer to as my reading version of his poem, which basically means that if the first letter of each line is capitalized, I get rid of that. If there's a punctuation where I feel missing, where I feel it's the end of a sentence, and I want to know when I read it where the end of the sentence is, I'll add the period and such things of that.
You must really miss him because I think he's crawling out of his grave right now.
No, actually, I think we could probably get along with each other. I don't know. One of my favorite Daniel Townsend poems is this one, which I'll do because it's on the top, and I don't have to keep turning these pages 100,000 times. It's called Beauty and the Bird. Out of loneliness, I have fashioned a bird that does not sing, save when rare occasions bring stark beauty. Then bird and I are one, and we go mad with song and beat our wings. And through imagination's eye, we even fancy we can fly beyond the skin of things. Then earth's sad face comes around again, reminds us of the cage we're in, and how stark raving mad we've been to think we're saved by beauty. And I was like cited for not painting my house, and I was sentenced to 300 hours of community service, and Daniel Townsend sort of came to my rescue, and there was like a newspaper article in which I made some comment like, sometimes I feel as though I'm singing songs to the deaf and drawing pictures for the blind, and Daniel used something that reminded me of that, and so I sort of appropriated this poem, and Daniel at one point said, you know, I'm just going to abandon it to you. You can have it. You know?
Can I ask you something real quick? Was it 300 hours because that's how many hours it would have taken to paint your house?
Probably something like that. It's like, you know.
At least there's sense and justice.
The guy's in trouble, so let's bury him deeper in trouble. You know. He's screwed up, so let's screw him up some more. This is called News from Home. The dogs have turned wild since you've gone. The moon blew, and my heart in hell has frozen over its heaven. Your work is cut out for you when you return. All your calls have stopped, save the mimes, and they're good. You can't hear them breathe. Otherwise, everything's business as usual. Only the blind want to read your poems. Only the deaf want to listen. Now this is a poem that I played around with. The poems of Daniel's that I played around with, and actually showed him a copy, and he says, yeah. He was not dissatisfied with how I did it up on the page. This is called Tell Chief Wahoo. Tell Chief Wahoo, Wounded Knee, Crazy Horse, Sand Creek, Sitting Bull, Little Bighorn. Whisper into his ear the trail of tears, Tecumseh, Cochise, Joseph, John O'Mick, Geronimo. Let him know when his false face, Red Sambo, with its Uncle Tomahawk grin and Pinocchio live a nose, goes. He shall rise up on the wings of eagles, dance to the drumming, and dream not what the white man deems important, the pennant race at Fort Jacobs, but the human race, the wilderness of his own imagination, his original face. And I'd like to do one more as soon as I can find it in this group. There it is. So this one's called Desperate Characters. Desperate characters shoot their arrows straight into my heart. Seduced, I start to bleed. I cannot leave nor stand apart from another's weather. We are one together in each raindrop of pain, each cloud lining silver flash. Out of their emergency, I emerge and sigh to their every wish, dream, and lie. Every rose, I stop and smell through their broken nose. Desperate characters have my number to stir my slumber. Never let me be alone. Ring my bell, my phone, any hour. Voices call. Draw me out. Dare me to care. To yes. Sail my heart again into their wild darkness. So, that's a small group were poems of Daniel Thompson's.
Do you have his publisher's permission for all of them?
Daniel Thompson's gonna be mad.
I guess he'll have to haunt me.
I knew you missed him.
I did this poem, this short little stanza, and I thought, well, gee, I'll turn it into. It crossed my mind to sort of turn it into a. I don't write sestinas; I just write conceptual sestinas. So this is one of my conceptual sestinas, and
Got all excited.
Wow.
Conceptual sustain.
Premature ejaculation.
I don't know the system.
See?
so if anybody wants to accept this, actually I did once conceptual sestina where I just chose the 6 words and didn't write the sestina. Somebody actually wrote a sestina using those 6 words, and it came out pretty good. I like what they had come out with.
Did I just miss a poetry lesson here?
No.
So that they didn't teach me in engineering school?
I remember a lot.
Well, you're down the
when I
floor,
worked with
you're
surveyors in
up the floor.
Cleveland, there was somebody came up with this line about when I came to this country, I couldn't say engineer. Now I am an engineer.
Yes. Actually, I've got a nice little cartoon. I have a few copies. I can give it to you. We can exchange paper now.
Says Tiny, which was intended as a pun on Sestina. What thought might a few words posit, not detachment, but with a credible sincerity, content, like a melody so true, it's its own refrain. encountered this writer, Gillette Burgess, and one of the things he came up with was Burgess Unabridged, which was a collection of 100 of his neologisms. And I took three of the words from his Burgess Unabridged and used them as the title of a poem. Drilligating Pollutal Lalifying. Okay, the three words in the title are from Gillette Burgess's Burgess Unabridged. Drilligating is detaining someone who wishes to get away. Pollutal is unnecessary or undesired information. Lalifying is over-elaborating. Drilligating pollutal lalifying. How many anal asses can dance on the toes of a poem? Might they pirouette up into thin air? Or crashing, pop them like grapes in a press? The critical whine like balloons wheezing empties its bladder, making mud of dust, or sneezing at truth for all its thumbs. Oh, this is a short little thing. It's called poetry reading. This is what I do, and to do it, I'll read in empty rooms.
Hey, we tried to do it. We tried to.
This short little thing is it seems like I've been going to like the Cleveland State University poetry workshop since like 1969, and it seems like one of their biases is the one of concision, where they want to invoke sort of like Occam's law. It's like if there's anything that they want to perceive as like unnecessary, they want to cut it. They must have great fun with song lyrics. So anyway, this is called concision. Tell Occam to go fuck himself. I'll refrain when my song's sung.
I know exactly who to give this to.
Being a musician, you ought to listen to it. I don't know. Attempting to commit poems to memory, which always seems to be a sort of mixed result. But anyways, the process of like trying to memorize poems seems to like make me want to present them on the page differently. So I had this poem called the Rabbit Poem that was one of the poems came in second in the Fessler Street poetry contest. And so this poem exists in three forms, and this is the latest. This is the one that's this is the version that was affected by my having attempted to get this thing between my cranial plates, which was a sort of mixed thing. It's like I'll be like reciting something, and I'll like pause and I'll like look at somebody, and all of a sudden, whoop. So anyway, the rabbit. Episodes voice themselves upon the memory, and like vignettes, lie in blank time. An album of experience. A moment may not be important, but lies there, touching your being. The pages turn, and I never did learn to dislocate the rabbit's neck. The trees behind the hutches do not exist in this vignette. But standing behind the hutches, I am killing a rabbit. The dull knives that I used taught me in my ignorance to cut behind the ears rather than saw the loose flesh of the neck. I clubbed the rabbit on the head and strung him up and sawed at his neck and slowed to the bone. The rabbit came to and squealed a shrill "Eeeeee!" And the butcher that I was, I beat his head with a blade, the bone-handled carving knife. The blade broke on his head. He stopped squealing. I cut the loose flesh. His head off, he convulsed blood. Once when Mom and I killed rabbits, we cut one's heart out, set it down, and it still beat. I show my foster mother the broken knife. The rabbit's skull broke her knife. Strange, my mother and I had won the same part of the set. Mom in Tallahassee with electrodes to her head. Not my EEG, I in Benel's Park. I am all I know. And the question asks the problem, and I cannot answer. So that's what it looked like after I reconfigured it on the page as a result of having
Is that one of your phones, Greg?
Yeah, it's an early one. This is like 33 years old.
Yeah, it's a harrowing kind of description of that.
Thank you.
Like the solids of the land.
Oh yeah, this I counted this. Am I supposed to try to stay within 15 minutes or something?
I was just checking to see because we got like an hour worth of tape. I would say like 20, half hour. That was,
You're at the 23-minute mark.
so there you are. No, I'm not, he's in trouble. I just get you guys in here and,
Okay.
Nick takes over after.
Well,
Can somebody say my name?
Anyways,
He is the master.
I have this little verbal squib or this little thought thing that flashed through my brain, and when I counted the syllables, I go 575. Okay, haiku.
Bingo.
I'm tired of these Armageddon Republicans. Valium, please.
Write that to me.
I got on the top of the stack. I got a couple poems I stole from the Nation magazine because these were two Kelvin Trillin poems that just like he doesn't always hit the spot quite like this, but these two really hit the spot. Cheney of the Pump. When it behooved Dick Cheney to devise a policy on energy, some guys in oil with whom Dick Cheney has close ties all gathered at the White House to advise. Presumably, they showed up in disguise. Their names, though fairly easy to surmise, were kept by Dick, more secret than some spies. So as the price of gas achieves new highs, and cries from all the working folks arise, these very guys upon whom Dick relies, the good oil boys he sought to deputize, the ones from whom our policy derives, are making out like bandits, profit-wise. Surprise, 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 surprise.
I'm the wrong kind of Republican.
If I were
Yes, you're living.
if I were a Republican, I'd probably be a Rockefeller Republican,
Apparently.
like those rich bastards.
I thought that's all I had to do was do that and then I'd be rich. There's something wrong with this plan.
That easy.
I know, you don't think I'm really a Republican.
There are no Zen Republicans.
Oh, you are. You're just quiet going home.
Okay. Do another Kelvin Trillin poem and Thomas Paine, and then give up the mic until the open reading maybe. Recycle myself back through here, possibly. Okay. On the revelation that Dick Cheney requires the television to be preset to Fox News in any hotel room he is about to occupy. The networks give Bush knocks or mocks. They paint him stubborn as an ox and clever as a box of rocks. So set the channel, please, to Fox. Some commentators on the box like making us the laughing stocks. Upon foul PBS a pox. Just set the channel, please, to Fox. That CNN will broadcast crocs on Arabs managing our docks and deaths and wars and other shocks. Now set the channel, please, to Fox. For me, the news that really rocks confirms beliefs held by our flocks. My mind remains quite closed with locks, so set the channel, please, to Fox.